Hi, this is Onna, and this is Check It at the Round Table, where we discuss movies, books, music, and stuff. Today, we are discussing Fridays. You know, back before the pandemic, I know it's kind of hard for all of us to remember, but Fridays were kind of a day where we maybe didn't party that evening, but we kind of did fun stuff, if you know what I mean. And it occurred to me this Friday that I really need to get a little back in sync with some of the things that I did formally before the pandemic, because this Friday evening, it was a good Friday, don't get me wrong. I mean, it was a nice day, got my work done, leisurely went into the weekend. Well, not really when you think about it. But anyway, I used to have a routine before the pandemic where every Friday, I would make sure that either Thursday night before or Friday morning and afternoon, I had my house wiped clean, everything vacuumed, etc. However, the last few months have not worked out that way because I've been working like 50 to 60 hours a week. And I love my job, don't get me wrong, but it really doesn't give me time to obsessively clean everything in my house like I used to do. And I think this is kind of a healthy thing because, you know, when the kids arrive in my life, it will be a lot easier for me to handle the fact that things may not be as tidy as they are now. So anyway, this Friday though, evening rolled around. I grabbed something to eat. I'm not sure what it was even because, yeah, it was kind of a blitzkrieg. And then I decided I would clean up my one office area that I do most of my work in. This office area, which you can't see right now, but looks rather fantastic, I have to say. So anyway, I cleaned this one office area. I got my office and my home gym are right next to each other so that if I want to while I'm working, I can multitask. I can maybe ride my bike while I'm, doing other things for work, which is kind of weird, but it works with the work I do. I also have my wobble board here. So if I want to do wobble yoga while I'm doing other stuff, I can. Or I just got a stair stepper. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's right by my desk too. So like if I want to, I can use standing desk and my stair stepper at the same time I'm doing my work. So I got all that cleaned up, vacuumed, put together. And it looks fabulous. I then went into my living room and got that to some similitude of calmness because it's been a little messy the last few weeks with the convention and the work and the English lessons, all that stuff. Yeah. So anyway, I got my living room and my office tidied. I got my kitchen pretty tidy, all surfaces wiped down. That's a big thing for Anna. I'm not sure why. It's just, yeah, I like to know that the cupboards are wiped, the dishes are put away, etc. So that was my Friday evening. I also was able to watch Bad Buddy that day. Yay, Bad Buddy was absolutely awesome. If you haven't checked out Bad Buddy, the series is on YouTube via GMMTV. I will drop a link to the playlist in the description of this video and podcast. Check out Bad Buddy. It is an amazing new tight series from this year and last year. It started last year, excuse me. And it is absolutely fantastic. It is comedic. It is thought-provoking. Yeah. And and Onna do a fabulous job, the actors for the series. So totally recommend it. If you're not into BL drama, totally get that too. But still, I would recommend it because it's really interesting and I think you'd enjoy it. If you like comedy and kind of thought-provoking material. So anyway, all right, I'm done with my little promotion there. But this got me to thinking by the end of the night because 10:30 rolled around. I was on the floor with my vacuum and my vacuum had come undone and I was like, I am tired, I want to go to bed. And I was just kind of unraveling, which for Onna means that I'm sitting there going, why did I decide to start this tonight? I mean, it would have been here tomorrow. But it got me to thinking because with the pandemic, it's like we have the ability to be home more, which is wonderful. But for some of us, we've spent most of our lives at home because we worked from home before the pandemic. And so it's kind of like we have to stay in even more than we did before, which is good in some ways. I mean, I have accomplished a ton in the last 2 years. I mean, like probably double what I normally do because of the pandemic. So I guess in a way, I'm grateful for that aspect. But in another way, during the pandemic, Bob ended up getting married, moving on her own, etc. I figured out what it's like to live by oneself for a while. And I realized that when you live by yourself, you do not have that, wonderful fox type person sitting there at night going, Gigi, we could, watch a Big Bang Theory, not vacuum the floor at 10:30 at night. And I'm like, I do miss that aspect of cohabitation because you have one more mind there to sit there and go, this might not be the best way to spend a Friday night. So by the end of the night, I realized that I need to rethink my Fridays. I need to figure out how to handle the pace of my life and, do get back into the habit of cleaning the house Thursday evening if I feel so compelled. And honestly, since it's just me, it really doesn't require a lot of cleaning, except for the fact that I haven't really cleaned very much in the last 3 to 4 weeks because of everything going on with my life. And the fact that I got a container of stuff that I'm still trying to find a spot for and have a couple piles of in the house. It's like, I don't know where to go with that. And there's only so much you can put in a toter in the garage for later. So anyway, you got all those things going on. But at the end of the day, I think the main thing is take time to relax if you can, because you only get one life and you don't want to sit there and go at the end of it. I don't think any of us, when we get to the end of this deal and go on to whatever's next, will sit there and go, I wish I had spent more time on Fridays cleaning my house. That's probably not the thing that's going to come to mind. So Anna's reevaluating, and I don't know if any other people on this podcast have the same kind of problem, but I think the thing is whether we are cohabitating with other people who help us do more fun stuff than we would normally do on our own, or whether we are by ourselves, we need to be able to switch it off. When work is done, turn off the work computers. When you're getting into the weekend, if you get a bunch of calls from people who you absolutely adore, but maybe need to take time to not answer so many phone calls, turn your phone to silent mode. Friends will understand. It's like, I don't mean it weird. My friends know that if they don't hear from me, it's not that I don't care about them. It's simply that I am probably beleaguered or trying to decompress from being beleaguered. So, and I do get back to my friends. It's like, they know they will hear from me. It might not be that week. Unfortunately, Onna does not check her text messages like I should. So, but it will be within, a month, they will hear from me. But the thing is I think the important part of everything is have joy in your life. For me, that's like when I get up in the morning, I love looking at my tidy home. And I love that my home is peaceful. I mean, nobody else in my home, even before, I live by myself, it's like my home is peaceful. And I really like the fact that it is quiet and restful. And if it does have noise in it, it's happy noise. And I have music that I can turn on and play whatever I want. I mean, no offense, I'm like, that is kind of nice. So if I want to listen to Taiwanese pop music till the cows come home, no one's going to be sitting there going, why are you only listening to songs in Mandarin? And I can go, well, I cannot speak Mandarin entirely yet, but I do know what these songs say in their English translations. But, it's a little awkward. So anyway, I love that I can play my own music. I love that I have 3 Chromecasts. Yeah, 3, because, I've got 3 rooms that I have a TV in. And if I want to turn on my playlist on YouTube, I can watch my favorite MVs while I'm doing my work around the house, which sounds very infinitesimal for things to do that bring you pleasure. But for me, it's like, I can turn on my Bad Bloody playlist, for example, and watch all my favorite comedic scenes in that show while I'm folding my clothes or doing other things like organizing Voldemort, which he got organized this Saturday. I mean, I went in and vanquished the beast, and I went in this morning and went, Voldemort is looking nice, which is kind of rare for the last month because we all have closets in our life. I mean, whether it's a closet or something else, because I think, when I was a kid growing up, I was quite messy. But the thing that I realized when I was an adult and had time to kind of process things better is I realized that when I was an adult and had my own place, I kept it impeccably clean. And I'm like, this is kind of strange when you think about it, because if you knew me as a child, my room was always a mess. Now, it was not dirty, but it was always messy. But the thing that I realized as I got to be an adult was I did not like people coming in and rousting through my stuff, which sometimes the people I lived with as a child would do unless my room was messy. And then they just walk in and then they'd walk back out. And then I realized as I'm an adult that I wasn't really messy because I liked being messy. I was messy because I didn't like people rousting through my stuff. Not that I had anything that I was like secretive about, but simply because it was my stuff and I didn't like people going through it and, organizing it according to their preference, which when you think about it is kind of weird. So anyway, when I was an adult, my house is very tidy. And I was like, this is kind of interesting because it wasn't tidy when I was a kid, but it's just natural for me to be tidy now. Well, Onna, you don't have anyone going through your stuff. And if you don't have anyone going through your stuff, and I don't blame the people going through my stuff. It's just, it was kind of a weird habit that I think they maybe needed to cleanse themselves too. And that was the way that they decompressed. But I wish they'd have had a better way to decompress because my room would have probably been a lot cleaner. But anyway, not cleaner, neater, because I wasn't dirty, just messy. So anyway, but as I've gotten older, my one problem is the closets. They tend to get away from me because the door's shut on them. No one can really see them. And at the end of the day, if I have a pile of clothes that I need to organize, I will maybe hang them up, but not in categorized order. And it will look a little messy. And I'm like, it's okay to have one part of your house that might not be the tidiest, or even two parts of your house, because like right now I've got a pile of stuff that I still need to figure out where to put, but it will happen eventually, and trying to deal with it all at once is not a good plan for Onna. But I think the thing is, this whole podcast and these digressions are about, with the pandemic, I think that we tend to think that if we have more time at home, it means that we should spend that time doing something useful, because that's what a lot of people think is best. But the thing is I think we need to maybe redefine useful, because listening to our favorite music and just sitting on the couch after a work week is useful. It doesn't mean that you are wasting time. It actually might be the best spent time of the week, because it helps you go into the new week and interact with people in a much healthier manner than if you didn't take that time. It's like this weekend, I decided on Saturday, I just rested. I slept in, which Onna doesn't really do very much. I listened to all the lectures that I wanted to listen to at alepbeta.org, which if you haven't checked out, you definitely should. Rabbi Foreman is amazing, whether you are Jewish, Christian, or other, it's still fascinating. So anyway, I listened to all the lectures that I wanted to. It took about 3 hours. It was absolutely awesome. And then I was able to watch Bad Buddy episode 10 again. I'm just saying, that episode, man, I was really worried, because usually GMMTV totally dive bombs episode 10 and 11 and brings it back in episode 12, but nobody ever wants to go back and watch episode 10 and 11. I mean, no offense, it's like they kind of have this thing, I don't know why, it's like, let's make 10 and 11 episodes of GMMTV series absolutely suck brick, and then we'll let the fans know that it will be redeemed by episode 12. But this one, episode 10, was fantastic. So I had to watch it again. And then I had to turn on my Bad Buddy playlist, add a bunch of new ones because the fan made videos were out with the new episodes. So I added that. And just kind of completely laxed out. And then that afternoon, I had a nice chat with a friend. And then I went into my English lessons for about 3 hours. And that was all smooth and nice. And then I was back to going to bed at a decent hour by, wrapping up my English lessons around 9ish. And I think did I watch another show? Yes, I watched, what's it called? Paint with Love with the new Cinco one, which I am totally unimpressed with, by the way. I mean, I'm going to do another podcast on that. But anyway, that would look like it had such a promising preview. But I'm like, by episode 7, I'm sitting there going, this is just an annoying work. I'm hoping they redeem it in the next couple of episodes, but I'm getting the same kind of feeling about that series as I got with Thorn Type. And not to be bad to anyone who likes Thorn Type. Okay, don't get me wrong. But I've never finished that series because it lacked care. And that bothers Onna. And in the same way, I'm like, Paint with Love, it just lacks care. And I don't like shows like that where people are caring well for one another, whether you're talking about friends or their friends or otherwise. It's like care is important. So anyway, I did finish Paint with Love episode 7, very disgruntled by the end of it. And then I went to bed peacefully with my playlist. No, not my playlist. I had my new purchase for the holidays was a Aurora machine that gives you the Aurora lights with nice calming Riverbrook music. So that's how I went to bed on Saturday night. It was like, it was a perfect day. So I think, me having that exhausting Friday night did make my Saturday better, because I sat there by the end of it and I said, I'm not doing this. I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to tidy up my house, yes, but I'm also going to realize that it will be done. And even now, if I had someone come to my house on Friday night, they would sit there and go, man, Onna has a lot to sort. But they would have also gone, it's very clean. It's been vacuumed. It's been wiped down. And I'm sure there is something good in the fridge to eat. So, it's one of those things that you count your losses, you count your gains, and by the middle of it, you realize you're very blessed. And I hope that you all have a wonderful new week and do something fun this Friday. Check it at the round table. Bye.